Hello everyone, welcome to the lecture series on digital electronics. It is a subject in third semester Diploma ETCE. The course code is ETCE/DE/S3. I am Paulo Sridhar, Assistant Professor, Department of ECE, Guru Nanak Institute of Technology. So let us start today's lecture number 11, which is in Unit 1, Number Systems and Basic Logic Gates. And today we will be studying about exclusive gates. Before starting exclusive gates, which mainly comprises of XOR gate, that is exclusive OR gate, and exclusive NOR gate, that is XOR gate and XNOR gate, let us have a quick recap of the previous lectures we have done. First of all is the overview of the syllabus. Our syllabus consists of 11 number of units, and after that we have studied the course objectives. For a student, knowing the course objectives are very important. Next, we have studied the number systems, and the number systems, basically we have studied about the 3 to 4 number systems, that is the decimal number systems, binary number systems, octal number systems, hexadecimal number systems, and also the conversion from one number system to another. And we have done numerous examples about the conversions, and the conversions of the number systems are also very important. After that lecture, we have studied about the complex number systems problems, which are very important in GATE examination and also in other competitive examinations. Next, we have studied about the signed binary numbers and the complement forms. We know that how to present a positive number, but how to present a negative number is also equally important. For this, we use a sign bit. The sign bit is placed before the MSB. That is the most significant bit. And after that, we have studied about the 9s complement and the 10s complement. Next, we have studied the binary arithmetics. In the binary arithmetic, we have studied about binary addition, binary subtraction, binary division, and binary multiplication. And we have done some examples corresponding to 4 of them. That is the binary addition, binary subtraction, binary division, and the binary multiplication. After that, we have studied about the basic logic gates. We have seen what are logic gates, what are the types of the logic gates, such as the basic gates, that is the OR gate, AND gate, and the NOT gate. The NOT gate is also known as the inverter. And in the corresponding individual gates, we have studied the logic diagrams, then the logic symbols, truth tables, then the corresponding applications of all the gates, and also the ICs, that the TTL ICs related to each of the gates. Next, after the basic gates, we have studied about the universal gates. First, we have studied why they are called universal gates, that is the NAND and the NOR gates. And after that, we have studied the truth tables, the logic symbols, the Boolean expressions, then all the applications of the NAND and the NOR gates. After the NAND and the NOR gates, we will be starting the exclusive gates. So let us start the exclusive gates. First, we are going to start the XOR gate. XOR gate is a very important gate. Now, XOR gate is a very important gate. Why? Because it has got huge applications, as it can be used as a modulo 2 addition. Next is it can be used as an inequality detector. It can be used as a control inverter and many other such applications, which we will see in the next slides. So let us start XOR gate. Now, XOR gate is a 2-input, 1-output logic circuit whose output assumes a logic one state when one and only one of its two inputs assume a logic one state. Now this property is a very important property which will be used in many other cases of the applications of a XOR gate. Next is, under the conditions when both the inputs assume the logic 0 state, or when both the inputs logic 1 state, the output assumes a logic 0 state. That is, these two cases we are saying. Now the output of an XOR gate is the modulo sum of two inputs. Now here we have seen the logic symbol and this is the truth table. Now one thing should be coming in all of our minds, that why it is called exclusive. That is, we are studying exclusive gates, and first we are studying exclusive OR gate. So why this is termed as exclusive? The reason I am telling you here. The output of an XOR gate is the modulo sum of its two inputs. So what happens? The name XOR is derived from the fact that its output is only one when exclusively one of its input is 1. That is, it excludes the condition when both the inputs are 1, excluding this one. Now, see, whenever one of the inputs is 1, that is exclusively when one of the inputs is 1, then only the output will be 1. That is these two cases where one of the inputs is exclusively 1. That's why this is a XOR gate. And why it is OR gate? Because the output of XOR is the modulo sum of these two inputs. That's why it is a XOR gate. That is exclusive OR gate. I hope this is clear to all of you. Now, this is the logic symbol. This is the universal logic symbol of the XOR gate. This one is the universal logic symbol. That is, whenever you will be told XOR gate, then you have to draw it like this. That is the OR gate. This one is the OR gate. This one is the OR gate. Followed, this one is the arc, and then that is followed by OR gate. That is, X is equal to A XOR of B. This one is the sign of XOR. That is, first of all, there will be a plus, then there will be a circle. Now let me show you here how to write it. Suppose you are drawing this one is a circle, and between this I am drawing a plus sign. That is the exclusive OR gate sign. This one is a very important sign. Whenever this type of sign will be there, we will be considering this as an exclusive OR gate. Now here we are considering this is at the two input XOR gates. That is, A and B are the two inputs and X is the output. Similarly here, this is the truth table. Which one is showing A and B are the two inputs and X is the output. Now what we can write? We can write X is equal to A XOR of B. That is, you can write EXOR. That's why it is exclusive. Exclusive, that's why EX, and OR for OR gate. For exclusive word, we are using the short term of exclusive, that is EX, then OR gate. Now let us explain the truth table. Now the truth table of the XOR gate shows that the output is high when any one but not all of the inputs is 1. This is the exclusive feature or the similarity of an OR gate. Now see here, first case is 0, 0. This is binary or decimal 0. This is 0, this is decimal 1, this is decimal 2, this is decimal 3. That is 2-bit representation of the numbers 0 to 3. That is 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0 and 1, 1. When it is 0, 0, so the output will be 0. When it is 0 and 1, the output is 1. When it is 1 and 0, the output is 1. Similarly, when the inputs both are 1, 1, the output is 0. So what we can say, that when there is an even number of high inputs, such as 2, the output will be low. So this is the logic symbol and truth table of a 2-input XOR gate. Now let us see the Boolean expression of an XOR gate. This is the Boolean expression of an XOR gate, that is x is equal to a XOR of b. Already there is a XOR. I had told you that XOR means a circle, inside it a plus sign, that is a XOR. And this one will be equal to a bar b plus of a b bar. This one is the Boolean expression of an XOR gate, which is coming from this truth table, Let us see the truth table again. This is the truth table. From the truth table, we are getting this expression, that is x is equal to a XOR of b. And this is the Boolean expression, that is a bar b plus of a b bar. So a XOR of b will be equal to a bar of b plus a b bar. I hope this Boolean expression is also clear to all of you. Now let us see how to design XOR gate using AOI logic. What is AOI logic? Already you know the AOI logic, that is the logic of the basic gates, that is AND for A, O for OR gate, and I is for NOT gate, that is the inversion, that is AND or inversion logic, or AND or NOT gates. That is, we will be designing 2-input XOR gates using AOI logic. So how to design it? So ultimately here, that is in the output, we will be getting a bar b plus of a b bar. Which one is the expression of an XOR gate? And we will be designing it using AND, then OR and inverter or the NOT gate. So here A is coming here. We are taking the A as the input to the inverter. Here we are getting a bar. So again, this one is going to the AND gate. This a bar is going to AND gate. Again, B is going as the input to one of the inverters. This one is the first inverter. This one is the second inverter. And again, this B is going as the input to the AND gate. Suppose this is the first AND gate. So what is the input of this AND gate? A bar, that is the output from the inverter, and B. So what will be the output of this AND gate? That is the first AND gate, that is A bar B. Here what will be the input? This A is coming as the input to the second AND gate, and this B bar, that is the output of the second inverter, is coming as the input to the second AND gate. So it is, the output is A B bar. So this one is going, this one is also going as the input to the OR gate. So this A bar B is going as the input, this one is A B bar is going as the input. So in the Y we will be getting, as this one is the OR gate, that is addition, so Y will be equal to A bar B plus A B bar, that is A XOR of B. Already you know that inverter means you will be getting the complement of the input. So this is A bar. And AND gate means we will be getting the dot product, that is A bar B. Similarly here we are getting A B bar. And OR means the addition of the two inputs. So this one is A bar B plus of A B bar. I hope this is clear to all of you. Next we will be designing 2-input XOR gate using the NAND gates or the universal logic. So how to design it? Before designing, let me tell you one thing, that in the output we will be getting what? The expression of the XOR gate, that is A bar B plus of A B bar. So here we will be taking the inputs A and B and we will be applying some of the NAND gates so that we can get the expression of the XOR gate, that is A bar B plus of A B bar. So how to do it? Just take this one, A is going here. You know this one already, it was discussed in NAND gate, that when you are taking as two inputs, A is going as 2 inputs means here we will be getting the inverted. That is, this NAND gate is acting as an inverter here. So A is going as 2 inputs, so we are getting A bar. Similarly, this B is going as the 2 inputs in the case of the second NAND gate, so this is B bar. Now this is the third and fourth NAND gate. This one is the third NAND gate, this one is the fourth NAND gate. This is the fifth NAND gate. So for designing this 2 input XOR gate, we are using 5 NAND gates. So this is first, second, third, fourth and fifth. So what is the inputs of the third NAND gate? This A bar, and this B is coming as the input. What is the output? As this one is NAND, so it will be A dot B whole bar because there is a bubble sign. Similarly, here in the fourth NAND gate, A is coming as the input and this B bar is going as the input. So in the output, we are getting A dot B bar whole bar because this is the NAND gate. NAND gate means dot product, then after that bar. That is A dot B bar whole bar. So again, this outputs, that is this outputs are going as the inputs to the fifth NAND gate. That is A bar dot B whole bar, then A dot B bar whole bar is going as the input. So here again this is the NAND gate, so it will be A bar B dot A B bar. This is again whole bar, and whole, this one is again bar. So this one will be A bar B plus of A B bar. If we do the simplification here, we will be getting this one as A bar B plus of A B bar, and this one is equivalent to the XOR gate. So we have designed the 2 input XOR gate using the NAND gate. Hope this whole structure is very clear to all of you. And remember one thing, that this both the gates, that is the designing of the XOR gates using the AOI logic and the NAND gates, are very important. Now next is the designing the multi-input XOR gates. How to design the multi-input XOR gates? Suppose the number of the inputs are more than 1 or more, 4, 5 like this. How to design it? Now here, see this one. N number of XOR gates can be connected to form a circuit with n plus 1 number of inputs and a single output. This is an odd parity circuit because its output is 1 if an odd number of inputs are 1. Next is, it is used to generate and check parity bits in the computer systems and detects any single bit errors. Now look in this circuit. This is the circuit here. I1, I2, I3, I4 up to IN. These are the inputs. So the inputs are taken from 1 to n. So for designing it, we are taking some XOR gates. This is the XOR gates. So for these 2 inputs, we will be taking 1 XOR gate. So for designing a circuit with n plus 1 inputs, you will be requiring n number of XOR gates. So it goes on like this, and here we will be getting an odd parity circuit. This circuit is nothing but an odd parity circuit. The odd parity circuit, in the next lectures, in the combinational circuit lectures, you will be studying about the odd parity circuit. But here you are having some glimpse that in the odd parity circuit, that is to check the parity, that is the number of ones, if it is odd or even. For checking the odd parity circuit, you are using the XOR gate. It is also a very important application in the case of an XOR gate. And this is a very important thing, that this line is very important, that for designing XOR gates, that is for designing n XOR gates, this n number of XOR gates may be connected to form a circuit with n plus 1 inputs and a single output. This is a very important line. So you just remember this line, that for designing a circuit using with n plus 1 number of inputs and a single output, n number of XOR gates will be needed. So next is the 3-input XOR gate. Here this is the logic symbol of the 3-input XOR gate, where there are 3 inputs A, B and C, and this is the output which is corresponds to X. And this is the truth table of the 3-input XOR gate, where there are 3 inputs A, B and C, and X is the output, where X is equal to A, XOR of B, XOR of C. This is the symbol of the XOR gate. This one. This is plus, then circle. So there are 8 combinations starting from 0 to 7. So these are the 3-bit combinations of decimal number 0 to 7. So this is 0, 0, 0. First is 0, 0, 0. Output is 0. 0, 0, 1, the output is 1. 0, 1, 0, the output is 1. Next is 0, 1, 1, the output is 0. 1, 0, 0, output is 1. And 1, 0, 1, the output is 0. 1, 1, 0, the output is 0. And 1, 1, 1, the output is 1. So this was the logic symbol and the truth table of the 3-input XOR gate. Now let us move to the ICs that is being commonly used. That is the TTL ICs and the CMOS logic ICs. I think all of you know the full form of the TTL, that is transistor logic. Already it was discussed in the previous lectures. And CMOS is complementary metal oxide semiconductor logic. So these are the number of the ICs and the purposes. That is how many number of gates are there, that is the purpose. So first one is 4025. This is a triple 3-input NOR gate. Second is 4030. That is quad XOR gate. Next is 4070. That is quad XOR gate. Quad means there will be 4 number of XOR gates in the ICs. Next is 7486. That is quad 2-input XOR gate. 741 G86, that is a single 2-input exclusive OR gate. Next is 74135, that is a quad exclusive OR, it can be used also as a NOR gate. Next is 74136, that is a quad 2-input XOR gate with open collector outputs. Next is 74386, that is a quad 2-input XOR gate. So these were the commonly used TTL and the CMOS logic ICs that are being used for the XOR gates. The most commonly used TTL XOR gates is the 74LS86 quad 2-input XOR gate IC. And already I told you that TTL means transistor logic. In the case of a transistor logic series family, there are many gates. Already you know from the OR and NOT gates, NAND gate and the NOR gates, all the TTL gates along with the pin description and the pin diagrams were explained to you. Now we will be learning about the 74LS86 quad 2-input XOR IC. This one is the 7486 quad 2-input exclusive OR gate IC. As I had already told you that quad means there will be 4 number of XOR gate present in the IC. So as it is told, there are 4 number of XOR gates. This is the first, this is second, third and fourth. See, 1 and 2 are the inputs and 3 is the output. Similarly, 4 and 5 are the inputs of the second XOR gate and the 6 is the output. 7 and 14 are the pins which are universal pins. As this is a 14-pin IC, so 14 number pin is always connected to VCC, that is the positive supply voltage, and 7 number pin is always connected to the ground. Look here that it is a 14-pin IC. This one is 14-pin IC starting from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14. This is the notch, and from the notch From the left side, we will be starting to count the numbers of the pins. That is 1, 2, 3, and it goes on up to 14. So let us see the pin number and the description here. This is pin number 1. So this is input gate number 1. So this one is the input gate number 1. This is 2, input gate number 1. This is again 2, input gate number 1. Next is, this is gate number 1. So the output 3 is output gate number 1. This is 3 number pin. That is output gate number 1. 4 is input gate number 1. This is 4, input gate number, 2. 5, input gate number 2. This is 5, input gate number 2. That is gate number 2 is this one. So the 6 is the output gate number 2. This is pin number 6. 7 is connected to ground. That is ground. 8 is output gate number 3. This is output of gate number 3, and 9 and 10 are the inputs of gate number 3. This 9 and 10. Again 11 is the output gate number 4. This 11 is the output gate number 4, and 12 and 13 corresponding are the inputs of gate number 4. So there are 4 number of gates, as that's why the name of the IC is IC7486 quad, and 2 input. Quad means there will be 4 number of gates, that is 1, 2, 3 and 4, and each of these 4 gates are having 2 inputs and 1 output. And remember one thing, that in an IC, always the 7 number pin is connected to ground and the 40 number is connected to VCC. Don't connect 7 to VCC and 14 to ground. Then this pin IC will be destroyed. So remember this 7, 14 number pin, which is very important for the lab experiments. Next is a very important topic which we are going to study, that is the gate applications, that is the XOR gate applications. First one is the arithmetic operation. Here the XOR gate is also called a modulo 2 adder, as it can perform modulo 2 addition. It is used to give the sum of 2 binary numbers. It has been used in many arithmetic circuits. Now it is noted that the same XOR truth table applies when we are adding 2 binary digits or binary bits. A 2 input XOR circuit is therefore sometimes known as the modulo 2 adder circuit or half adder without carry output. The name half adder refers to the fact that the possible carry bit resulting from an addition of 2 preceding bits has not been taken into account. A full addition is performed by a second XOR circuit and the output signal of the first circuit and the carry as the input signals. That is, cascading of 2 XOR gates or 2 XOR gate circuits will give rise to a 3-bit addition or a full adder circuit, which we will be studying in the next lectures. In the case of a combinational circuit, where we will be studying about half adder, full adders, but this one we are studying here as the application of an XOR gate, because here in the case of a addition or modulo 2 adder circuit, we are using a XOR gate. That is also a very important application of a XOR gate, that is, it is used in some arithmetic operations. Next application is the parity checker. XOR gate can be used as a parity checker. So let us see the point. The XOR gate is the most suitable circuit to provide parity checker. Here this is the circuit of an 4-bit even parity checker. This one is A and B, C and D. So this one is, here in the X output we will be getting an even parity bit. So this one XOR gate can be used to provide parity checker. Next is the XOR gate application, where XOR gate can be used as a control inverter. This is a very important application in the case of a XOR gate, and this is also a very important question for semester exams also, that how XOR gate can be used as an inverter, because, and also in the Viva questions also. Like, see, this one A is the logic variable input and this one is the control input, and the output we will be getting some value. Now this control input can be controlling the output. Now here what it is written, when control input is high, the output is y is equal to a bar. That is when this one control input is high, that is equal to 1, then in the output we will be getting a is equal to, that is output y is equal to a bar, that is we will be getting the inverted output. And when the control input is low, we will be getting y is equal to a. We can also see it in the case of in the truth table. In the truth table, when one of the inputs is equal to 1, then we are getting the inverted output. That is, suppose one of the input is 1 and the other input is 0, in the output we will be getting 1. So this is an important property of an XOR gate, that it can be used as a control inverter. By using an XOR gate, a logic variable can be complemented or allowed to pass through it unchanged. That is, depending upon the control input. We have seen already that when it will be high, we will be getting here output is equal to sorry, that is when control input is equal to 1, here we will be getting the complemented input, and when this control input is equal to 0, here we will be getting the same input, that is it is unchanged. So we have already explained how this XOR gate can be used as a control inverter. Next is other applications are XOR gate can be used in binary to gray conversion and also gray to binary conversion. Here this circuit is shown as gray to binary conversion. This gray and binary are some codes which we are using in digital systems. This X1 is the MSB, which one is simultaneously coming here. Now X1 is coming as the input to the first XOR gate, and the X2 is the second bit. This one we are getting B. Now this B is going as the input here, and X3 is the third bit. So it is coming as the input to the second XOR gate, and we are getting C. Next C is going as the input, and other input is the fourth number of bit in the gray code, and this one is coming as the D. So A, B, C, D we are getting is the binary code. So XOR gate, this XOR gate can be used to convert a gray code to binary code. Similarly, you can also convert a binary code to gray code by using XOR gates. How? Just the input positions will be changed. That is, suppose this is A, B, C and D. This is MSB. A is the MSB. So this A will be coming as X1 in the case of a gray code. Now this A is going as the input, and B is the second bit. In the case of a binary code, it is going as the input of to the first XOR gate. Next is this B is going as the input, and C is going as the input to the second XOR gate. So we are getting X3, that is the third bit in the gray code. Next is the C is going as the input, and D is going as the input. So we are getting X4, which is the fourth number bit in the gray code. So here A, B, C, D was the binary code which was applied through the XOR gates, and we will be getting the gray code. That is the binary code gets converted to the gray code. So here we have seen that XOR gates can be used as binary to gray and gray to binary conversions, and this is also a very important application of a XOR gate. Next applications are the combination logic circuit minimization. In the combination logic minimization techniques, we will be using the XOR gates. Next is the inequality detector or the anti-coincidence gates. Here see the truth table. Seeing the truth table, we can explain why it can be used as an inequality detector. See here, the XOR gate produces the output. Here in the truth table, we can see that here, see, when this two inputs, this input is 0 and this input is 1. Now when, see, in the case of this inputs, this is 0, this is 1, that is these two inputs are not equal, that is these two inputs are unequal, so this output is high, that is XOR gate produces output 1 when the inputs are not equal. You can see here these two inputs, this is A is equal to 0, this B is equal to 0, but yet X is equal to 0, that is these two inputs are equal, that's why the output is 0. So we will be taking the outputs where it is 1 1, these two cases when these two inputs are not equal. So this XOR gate can be used as an inequality detector, or you can also call it as an anti-coincidence detector. Hope this is clear to you all. So we have come to the last of this lecture. So I'm thankful to all of you